Forward living. Join your host, Jess Juntanen, quantum healer, intuitive, and midwife to the awakening spirit, as we dive into quantum tools, wisdom teachings, and integrated healing pathways for transformation. You can live a life of freedom to be without limitation. Cozy up, grab your tea, and enjoy this hour of expansion, wisdom, and love. Hey, hello, and welcome to Soul Fusion Cafe. I am your host, Jess Gentinen. Excited, happy to be here with you this hour. Those of you that tune in are regular listeners. I know my show has gone on some hiatus, and it's been incredible. Been in Mexico, been expanding miracles on the planet. So coming back into you, returning from Mexico, here and ready for this incredible hour of sharing. I definitely want to share some of the beauty that unfolded while we were there in Mexico, as well as all the amazing energy that's happening right now, because what we did there was on behalf of humanity and is seeding us right now for where we are going into July. We're almost there. We're almost at the July moment. We are in the conclusion of the June energies, and it is new moon today. An incredible blessed day for this new moon, and really holding presence around this, because it is absolutely an incredible time to be here to uh, really dig deep into our vision and dreams of what's possible for us and humanity, and if it's your first time listening, welcome. Um, I'm going to be sharing some things today that do come through the yoga of self-ascension and my own teachers, wisdom teacher Sri Ramka and Master Lady Kira Ra. Many community members, or Minga members, I should say, join us for my talks and my episodes. However, some of you may not be familiar with their work. So, if anything resonates that I'm sharing with you, it is the essence of the yoga self ascension. It's the message, not the messenger. And if any of it resonates with you, please do check out Shri and Kira at their official Shri and Kira YouTube page, and here at Oneness Talk Radio and over at Facebook and all the yummy places, because anything that I'm sharing has its foundation in the yoga of self ascension. And I bow before them for bringing it forward to the world, because it's truly the most pure stream of information that I have ever encountered in all of my studies and travels. And I don't even bother with anything else anymore, because it's that accurate, that profound, and it is non-dogmatic in every way. The core of the yoga of self-ascension is that all paths to the divine are valid, and each path is as unique as each individual. There's 7 billion some people on the planet. There are 7 billion paths on this planet, so, if there's anything that I do share that, piques your own interest or resonates within you, please go and share in what they have to share, because there really is so much more. I'm barely going to scratch the surface for you. So I invite you to take that deep dive in if anything is resonating with you. And, today is uh, a big day. Like I started off with, it's the illuminated new moon. It's the moment of expansion. We have a few days before July hits, and I am, right here bringing up the Ascension Up Level calendar, in order to share with you. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing, is trying to prepare to share this with you. Here we go. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen now. And this is the June up level calendar for 2022. And you'll see right here, the illuminated new moon, right? And this is a moment where you see we are transiting the sea of neutrality right here. every month, this calendar is very much a guidebook. And look at July, where we are going, right? So I encourage you. Wow, this is really touchy. I'm so sorry. Um, wow, June. Let's get to June. Okay, well, fascinating. Let's see. I'm gonna get back out of there because it is so touchy. It is. I'm gonna try sharing it again. Normally, we don't have such a jumpy mouse pad. Okay, so let's just not touch it and not move over to July. You saw the little preview of July. And, I would still encourage you to go get this calendar at shriankira.com. 444. It's a guidebook. If you saw me flipping through, there's a lot of pages, a lot of content, a lot of information that's available there for you to connect with. And it's much more than a calendar. It's very much a guide. And you'll see June 2022 has been all about the unconditional love and the second of the four harmonic flows that are anchoring this month. So this month's ascended numerology, the two plus the infinite, is very much carrying a unification energy. It's unification of humanity. And this beautiful illuminated new moon today is amplifying our awareness. It is amplifying everything. And look where it's sitting. It was like 1 week ago, we were at the solstice moment on the 22nd, the day that we were in Lowell Bay, Mexico, the center of this portal of the sea of neutrality, right? And as we are moving into the remainder of July and really anchoring, we're moving into an experience month in July. This is the awareness month that is birthing into the experience. So, really paying attention to what you're aware of right now, what's happening in your world, what's happening in your life in this moment, because everything that you've been doing in June is absolutely planting these seeds for the experience of July. And the experience of July is being revealed right much in that energy. This new moon is carrying us into it. And in this energy of um, the new moon, of this culmination of June, we are in an energy of the 7 days of hope. HOPE, capital H period, capital O period, capital P period, capital E period. Hope. We are here in this energy of hope. What does that stand for? You'll find out on day 7. We're on day 2 right now of hope. And there is a beautiful practice that goes along with this. And I'm going to show you the video if Restream is going to be kind enough to me to allow that share to happen. And yeah, let's see. This will give you the idea of what hope is.
Namaste, Sri Akira here, just back from the Yucatan in Mexico, where so much was revealed, so much is emerging, and we are delighted to be with you.
We are standing here at the Fountain of Creation, Blue Mountain, because that's how powerful the energy is right now, and how emergent day, right now, this moment, we're posting this on YouTube, is day 1 of a moment for humanity that I bow before, that we are each alive to be a part of. 7 days of hope, and it is starting right now. It will culminate on Sunday, July 3.
One of the things that has become so clear in our consciousness is that all of our consciousness makes the difference. As we are holding within our consciousness the energy of peace, the energy of love, the energy of inclusion, we create space for the highest potential to emerge. Now consider for a moment that these are not empty words. This is an active creation principle where you have a timeline that has a cascade of potentialities, and you have a parallel timeline with a similar cascade but a slightly different outcome.
Now breathe that.
Yeah, there are parallels. And so, beloved, take a breath.
As we breathe into that, you're already feeling it. You're noticing the tension that there's this kind of conscious awareness within you that has called you even to connect with this video. Well, the ascended numerology for July, and this is why the gathering of the lineage holders for 1,000 points of light matters. It matters as this has never mattered before. On July 13th, what will happen is that the mastery moon, this is a full super mastery moon that is going to offer perfect balance to both aspects of polarity. Both will mirror 13 energy on the 13th in the energy of the infinite. When those two polarities rise side by side in the energy of this full super moon, that energy is so powerful that the call to the ignition of the sea of neutrality as this zone of buffer, a zone that says all are welcome to have their experience. But when they meet the sea of neutrality, rather than try to push their way through it and annihilate each other, they are able to see that ocean as a mirror reflected back of themselves, freeing them to continue the cycle without having to destroy the other.
So, beloved ones, as you breathe into your own ascended heart, may you know, trust, and activate the creation principle that resides right here. And that creation principle is indeed the X factor, the ingredient that creates the spaciousness for the polarities to unwind in a more gentle fashion.
We are inviting you to say yes to the upliftment of humanity, to give yourself that gift, to learn more, and to stay tuned.
Hello, and thank you for taking that moment with me to spend with the 7 days of hope, because who could share better about it than Master Lady Kira Ra and wisdom teacher Sri Ram Ka. So really prayerfully, you have been receiving this message with your heart, your soul. I see, Pauline sharing, getting chills. Wow, about the 713, right? The energy of the 13, the polarities coming up, the rising. This is very, very important. So these 7 days of hope this week that kicked off yesterday are a kind of foundation that we're going to build upon as we move towards that July 13th. And whether or not you started tracking with us yesterday, or you catch this video in the coming days, or wherever you pop in, just bring yourself to this moment right now and be with the 7 minutes. Give yourself the gift. And with that video, we sent out an e-card yesterday. If you're on Sri and Kira's email list or at their YouTube channel, you'll find it there, as well as on their Facebook, with the practice that accompanies it, and I will open that up and share it with you right now, so that you can be aware too of what this powerful practice is. So as we're sharing and holding this moment, because it's so important, the more people we can get to be holding these 7 minutes every day and these 7 days of hope, the more we are going to bring energy in and amplify and balance that potentiality of peace and love for humanity. We will always deliver the message of peace and love, and the acronym of what hope actually stands for, we will reveal this weekend, and it is incredible. Nobody knows it yet except like 3 of us. And you want to tune into Sunday service. That's free. That's at Official Sri and Kira YouTube and here at Oneness, and really be there for Sunday service. And additionally, you really want to be there for our miracle team or the spiritual mastery mentoring with Sri and Kira. You really want to give yourself that blessing, because it is a profound gathering every month, and it is something available to you if you join our app, Spiritual Mastery with Sri and Kira. Look it up at the Apple Store, look it up at Google Play, Spiritual Mastery with Sri and Kira. It's a free app. There's tons of free content. However, if you become a member And there are different levels of memberships. You can explore what works for you, starting at, I think, around $6 a month and up. You can join the ceremony. You can be there live with the emerald, or if you come in at the amethyst level, you could really give yourself the blessing of having that video all month long to revisit, plus a lot of meditations and other content. And it really is our church service, for lack of a better word. We're not a church, but it's that time where you come together. We're a temple. We really are like an actual ministry. We're verified 20 years bona fide ministry, Temple of Self-Ascension. And that's our monthly moment. You get more information there than you do anywhere else. You really have a private feeling, audience with Shri and Kira. It's very much the people that are so part of the yoga self-ascension community that are there to support and uplift and share miracles. And we energize miracles on behalf of humanity. We do a ceremony to help the planet. So, I mean, if you're one of these beings that you're a lineage holder, you're a lineage holder if you came here because you have a purpose greater than hanging out and serving your ego. There's plenty of beings on that track. That's perfect. However, I guarantee you, if you're listening and you're tuning in, that you have a bigger purpose. You have a reason why you came here to be here and to help humanity. It's right now, and I have a few friends that, they pay attention to the astrology and things more like that. And it all lines up though. This is like they share, like Dot Maver was sharing something about someone she connects with, that this moment is very much like a whitewater raft the whole year. It's like being whitewater rafting. And July is like being in one of those whirlpool eddies that you've got to paddle really hard to get out of. And some beings are falling right out of the boat, and some beings are just hanging on super tight. And then there's those of us that are like, paddle, paddle, grabbing extra paddles, get us through, get us out there. That's the moment. I loved the way she put that, because that's where we are at. It's not like I'm going to just someday I'm going to live my purpose. Someday I'm going to help out, or I'm going to do the thing that I know I want to be doing. Like, there might not be another chance to do it. It's right now that you're meant to do what you are here to share. It's right now, it's not wait till later. It is the moment, so I'm pulling up the 7 days of hope here and what there is to share about that with you. And as you connect with this, bring your hand to your heart and just really feel and honor whatever's coming forward. There's nothing that we need to energize around the polarities of fear or anything else. This is about empowerment, and it's about coming forward and really sharing your gifts, your blessings with the world, with the universe. This is this is that moment. Like, if there's ever been a moment, this is it. So Shri and Kira shared about the 7 days of hope. I'm going to read this message to you. These 7 days are the new moon illumination. Started yesterday, goes to July 3rd. That prepares July's emerging butterfly energy to soar with H.O.P.E. We invite you to embrace 7 minutes of active mastery presence. Your eternal nature is ever present and ever active as the 0 point generator of all that you are. Living a life in form does its best to distract and coerce your eternal nature into forgetfulness. Yet within each moment is the presence of freedom. Collectively, when the blessing of this attentive action toward our up-leveled consciousness ignites, we send the clear signal to the universe that we are ready to thrive. This is beyond your regular form of meditation or yoga or other spiritual practice. This is the gift of devotion to your active mastery presence as the gift it is. Invite yourself, starting today and for 7 days consecutively. So whether or not you started yesterday, do this for 7 days consecutively the moment you discover this practice. Number 1, share 7 minutes. And it can happen all at once. Or it could be several shorter times during the day. Maybe you do a 3.5 in the morning and 3.5 in the evening, or split it up 2, 2, 2, 1. However you split it up, 7 minutes or all at once on the blessing of receiving from the universe. Invite your focus to be on the energy of receiving without defining it. Just receive, not trying to put your mind around what it is or anything else. 2, clearly set the intention of unification of humanity through unconditional love. Clearly set the intention of unification of human conditional love. Hold that vision. That's number 3. Hold it, hold it, hold it for those 7 minutes. 4, notice what you notice. Let go of any judgment or concern about what you notice, or if you're doing it right. Simply say yes as you witness the stunning and rapid realization of H.O.P.E within you. Smile often, love yourself more, and know that with sincerity, love, and presence, miracles are manifested. Come together in unconditional love for the unification of humanity on days 6 and 7 with the Miracle Team Mastery Mentorship Ceremony Saturday and Sunday service. Get on the newsletter, go to ShriAndKira.com, sign up for that newsletter, get over to our Facebook, Shri and Kira Official, get over to our YouTube and our Instagram, Shri and Kira Official, so you can track with these messages every day, because every day we'll have an audio for you to listen to and tune into, and this practice to keep being with. So again, whether or not you heard about this, you're starting at the right moment. Just start your 7 days now. And, if you want to get past messages or you didn't receive them, go ahead, send an email to support@selfascension.com or over to me, jess@selfascensionstudios.com, and I'll make sure to forward you the messages that you may have felt like you missed, So there is no wrong, there's no judgment. Wherever you're beginning and however you're beginning is absolutely perfect and just so beautiful, and really feeling the blessing of the community that is here, the family that is here, those of you joining me live here today and YouTube and Facebook, I welcome you. And if you're here in the recording, of course, I welcome you as well. And while we're talking, I just got to share. This is the incredible, it's behind me. I just love looking at her. This beautiful Mary, she's like this indigenous representation of Mary. And she came from Mexico. She came from the monastery in the Golden City, Izamal. Right? Look at how beautiful she is. Um, and each one of these was unique. I did happen to get the last one, and she is just, look at the little iguana too. And I can't remember the name of this plant, but this is that plant that they use the fibers of for a lot of things. It's this beautiful, abundant representation because there's so much of this there, and for me personally, the divine feminine and Mary represents that in so many ways, right? She doesn't represent it. She is the divine feminine. So of course I connect with her amazingly, but this is that time of the divine feminine. This is the time of that rising balance and coming together in that way, so it's very much a moment where we're noticing a few things, like in the video Shri and Kira shared, that the polarity as it is rising and mirroring each other in fascinating ways. There's this increase of this divine feminine that is seeking balance, and we are seeing in that mirror the complete imbalance of it. So, while we were in Mexico and leading up to it, there was so many energies that tried to stop what we were doing, and I was there with Shri and Kira and a group of beings. There were 17 other beings. There was 20 of us total. Put that, there's 20 of us total, 19 women, one man being Sri Ram Ka. So we had all women on this journey, with beautiful Shri holding that presence of the balanced masculine feminine. But I mean, usually we have a few men that do participate and join the journeys at least. So it was fascinating that it became, this really very much journey of the divine feminine and the priestess's return. And there was a lot of energy that tried to stop it. And if you listened to Dana and I sharing last Sunday on Shri and Kira Live, we shared about some of this. And if you caught Monday Magic with Kira Ra while we were down there, go to their YouTube if you didn't and catch the Monday Magic episode, because we did air it live everywhere as a special wave of support and opened it to the world. And there's some more, excuse me, shared about that as well. And I'm smiling too because I love the divine feminine that is Frida. I think she's that feminine masculine balance. She's so amazing. And I got that cup while I was there too. I love her. So just thinking about my coffee. um, but yes, that mirrored energy. So as this interference energy came in, we were part of World Unity Week. We had broadcasts that were set to go out. Every single broadcast had some kind of interference around it. And leading up to it, there was, before we even left, there was so much interference coming in that Master Lady Kira experienced attacks on her, energetic attacks. And I was around, whether physically or here in Michigan, connecting with her and know what she went through and know how much got thrown at her and how much tried to get thrown at those of us that are close, working most closely around them. And they couldn't get through. They couldn't get through. And then eventually they start messing with like our, you know, electronics and our feeds and things like that, so that the message gets limited, and we will get that ceremony from Lil Bay out to you. We will. There's so much incredible footage and video from what happened there. Pardon me. Wow. And it's like also moving energy. It's like as I'm talking about it, I'm feeling like a pressure moving up through my head and out. And it's like the yawning isn't from even being tired. It's this energy movement up through the top of my crown that is happening and throat chakra as I'm connecting with all this energy. I can feel it again very much. It was a fascinating experience, and I had been along on this journey of working with all of these women before we even went on this journey that are also part of some of what was happening with World Unity Week and some of these other connections. So as we were in that dance of connecting with these other beings, what we witnessed was women that not in our group came with us, but this was prior, and some of the ones that we had, contact with, um, was just this absolute energy of competition, greed, fear, not empowerment, but like control and power, and it was very much this like, antithesis of the collaboration, the cooperation, the beauty that is a group of women that are in collaboration and coming together with the same goals in mind. And while these other beings talked all that talk, they didn't walk that walk. They didn't. They absolutely had all of this jealousy and all these things that were going on that we witnessed. And we were detached from a lot of that. However, I think when we stand in the light of our truth, it attracts those that want to stop it. And whether they're conscious or not, sometimes this is like not even really um, conscious on other beings. It's not in their, it's like they think that they're doing the best. They feel like their intentions are pure and aligned. And that's how the ego is so uh, sneaky. That's how it really gets in there, because people often feel they are doing the quote unquote right thing. And they're so charged with spiritual activism. They're so full of spiritual activism thinking and right and wrong and judgment, but they don't see it. It's very, very sophisticated. So what we have is, this mirroring image. And when we brought this group together in Mexico, the group was so incredible. I don't know if any of you are here in the chat today that were part of our group or are tuning in right now, or you're tuning in later, but you all know what you did. You all know what you created. It was an incredible group of empowered beings, empowered women that came together actually in the energy of collaboration and in the commitment and in support. It was the most beautiful, incredible thing to witness. And I've had the blessing of being part of many, many groups now, leading and facilitating, or being a participant myself in the yoga of self-ascension and the work that we do. So it's always amazing. However, this group really just had that cohesiveness, that everyone came together. And it was this beautiful gift because I witnessed women as priestesses and this incredible being, Sri Ramka, holding all of that space, so that women could rise, and being that support. And there's room for everybody at this table. It's not just about the women, it's about the men as well, or non-binary. If you don't identify as a gender, none of that matters. It's about the balance of the divine feminine and the divine masculine together. And when these aspects are balanced, when these aspects come into a harmony with each other, it's just like everything becomes easy. That law of instantaneous manifestation becomes easy. It becomes easy to uh, ignite and share and say, um, what's right is right, but not out of a sense of judgment, and just hold presence and hold space and create from real love and unconditional love. And that's what it's all about. Um, it's it's a remarkable thing to witness and be part of. So I bow before each of you that's holding this presence in this space. And as we were there watching the incredible ignition of of all that was happening, and the priestesses come forward, it was quite a journey and dance. We began with our Monday at Chichen Itza, and that was the first site we visited. And I don't think I'll ever go again. I don't think I'll ever go there again. I think that was enough. And we had to go there and touch the energy and discover what was happening there, because it was so revelatory. There was the complete aspect of like, this is a show. This is like being at Disney World or something, where everything is planned out, and it's for a profit. And the whole site, it was like, you can't touch the pyramids, you can't go up on the pyramids. I mean, I understand to a respect, because thousands of people go through there a day, so they can't really have people climbing all over the place. um However, you couldn't even honor or touch the energy, and it was all so polluted just because there's thousands of beings going through there every day. um Very sad. And you're only really allowed to kind of walk the circuit, a park. You can't really wander around behind the scenes, or look at things you to look at. You're to see what they want you to see. You're brought through with a guide, and um you're not able to really connect with the energy. Not there's much left there to connect with. And then all along the way, there are vendor stands just full of vendors selling you things that aren't even out there either. It's like just selling crap, and it's probably hundreds of vendor stalls throughout the whole place. So it's this very heavy, very, I don't know. It's hard to like, not be in that space of judgment and just surrender over to like, okay, that is what that is. Um, but it's sad, it is sad to see a sacred site. It was my first time going to any kind of, I've never been to Mexico. I haven't been to any remnants of the Mayan civilization in that way, like at temples or things like that and pyramids. So, it was like this very just wow, a little bit sad moment to see what had happened to this sacred site. But we also needed to see that because that's what density is right now. There's this whole illusion and for profit, and even like the spiritual now is it's becoming more mainstream. We see people talking about consciousness, people talk about healing, people talking about um you know, up leveling through unification of body, mind, and spirit. You hear these conversations happening on a regular basis now. And like I see TikTok videos about it, right? So there's a lot more beings having these conversations about all topics, metaphysical and energy work and beyond. And there's a lot of fascination, of course, with archaeology and culture, with the Mayan pyramids, and also many more beings that are wanting to have a spiritual experience that go there. But you're seeing this complete for sale spiritual experience, right? Like we had a tour guide that did talk about the spiritual components, and he felt like he was a pretty spiritual connected person, and not that he wasn't those things, or even he still too was part of all of that, right? I mean, that's where he goes and makes his money. So it was a very illuminating experience. And then on the contrast, the next day we went to Maya, which is this beautiful, almost absent of people. We were the only people there for a good amount of time. It didn't have vendors. It didn't even have like some of the sites have like a little coffee shop or gift shop. It had none of that. Just like a little station where you checked in and paid or whatever. And that was it. There was like a couple guards, working the whole property that day. And you could still go up onto the pyramids there, not as large as Chichen Itza, but it was built in a kind of replica of Chichen Itza, the kingdom at that time, in my opinion, was like, emulating what was there at Chichen Itza. So you still had the temples, you still had everything, but you could go on them, you could touch them. And because there weren't so many people around, we could do ceremony. What we discovered, if you tuned into Sunday's show, was like, you know, love is the threat. This is the unconditional love month. We saw that at Chichen Itza, you can't go in and do ceremonies. You cannot. Even the indigenous Mayan cannot go in and do ceremonies at these sites. They're not allowed. And if they start seeing you doing anything like that, like it's illegal. You'll get kicked out, you know. So we didn't plan to be renegades or anything at Chichen Itza, but before we went in, we just had a simple circle with our group outside before we even went inside. And we held hands and we set our intention and we shared love and we all shared hugs with each other. And this freaked the guards right out. This freaked everybody right out that we were there hugging each other, being with each other, and being in that space of like love, right? That we would be in sharing that. They're like, oh God, what are these people gonna do? And they were already watching us. And the guide came over and said, no, they're already watching us. And we're like, we're just hugging. We're just hugging each other, So that was what was incredible. But in my opinion, the next day, there was none of that was there. We were able to absolutely dance, share in this incredible space. It was so amazing. I looked out and watched this whole group of beautiful women dancing and playing, and we had a ceremony. I mean, we had to still be kind of low key about it, but we went into the observatory that was there, and a column in the center, and it's like a hall fit in there around, and weekends. And we had Palo Santo, um, incense that we were burning, and candles, and we anointed. and we ignited for humanity in that moment, really carrying this unconditional love for humanity while everyone toned in that space. And I felt this big light that went straight up from that space, and all felt it. We all were part of it, and just ignited something. And it doesn't take that long. Sometimes a ceremony has to be this drawn out long affair, but this was very much this um concise, not super long, but powerful ignition of the light, an ignition of the um, activation of everywhere that we are going now. And we concluded that, and there was like a little dance party, and some people like climbed up one of the pyramids, and there's that rich history too of the culture. Like part of this culture for a while was like they had no rain. That's when all those sacrifices and things happen. But when these cultures seeded, that was not part of it. And the pyramids still hold this pure energy, right? So, I mean, you even see how those cultures, evolved and devolved over time. So that it's just like it's too one dimensional to say the Mayan were this way or that way. It's thousands of years, that their cultures were built and rose and fell, and a lot of different energies came through from their initiation throughout their history, which all of that is evident there. And there was a few things that happened there. There was a pyramid uh, discovered behind everything. It was like in the jungle still. It wasn't part of the main complex. Like they clear out the main complex. There's a few trees standing, but a lot of but if you go around the fringes, it looks like, and get a better idea of what the greenery would have been around the pyramids. And they found a pyramid back behind that was uncovered. It was still with a giant San Pedro cactus by it, and powerful energy. And Master Lady Cole there. And I know we'll look at transcribing that in soulment or sharing that with the world. And she very much connected with the priestesses that were there when the city was falling, too. And that the priestesses would come together to hold the energies, to cultivate the energies of that space, and that community. So they played a huge role. And then in the center of the complex, like there's the main big pyramid that was kind of like the representation of Chichen Itza, but just not quite as huge. Still big, impressive. There's some other temples that would have been both served as like temple kind of points, but they also were homes to the very elite, to the politicians or those beings that were there. And at the top of one of these, you could go inside of part of the dwelling that was there. Only this was definitely more of a temple than it would have been a dwelling, because it had these recessed doors. It was just like Ingapurka in Ecuador. And I went up in there earlier in the afternoon, and just felt the energy. And it was just incredible to be able to sit on those rocks and to actually be able to feel those energies that were there. And in that room, it was like the air was just whoosh, and it felt very profound. And some other folks came up, and I didn't have a lot of time to be up there on my own. And then later on, Master Lady Kira Ra, Wisdom Teacher Sri Ram Ka, and Dana were up there before we left, and an ensoulment came through up there as well. And she did confirm, Master Lady Kira Ra, that it was very much the energy of Ingapurka, and Ingapurka, if you don't know, is the only feminine temple in the Incan civilization, in and it's held in home in Ecuador in the Andes Mountains. And it's also interesting because it's Incan and Cañari that came together to create that city. So the central temple is actually oval shaped. You don't see that very often. And it was the temple of the priestesses. And at the top, there are very active portals. So it was very much a connection point to like Ingapurka and to where we were there at Mayapan. Very, very similar, very profound. So that too, I know we will work to get that delivered to you and get that out there into the world. And, there was this just sweetness. There was, the playfulness, the laughter, and that, oh, a message that came through Master Lady Kira Ra, and maybe this supports you too to carry forward, is that it's like, a lot of people, we supplicate ourselves to these figures and energies, whether it's an angel, Mother Mary, our earth, the tree. I mean, we are meant to be in union with those, and we are meant to connect and use that as our catalyst for consciousness. However, not to just bow down before as if that is the uh has all the power, because we are the empowered energy, right? So many beings can go to these sites and places, and just it's this like complete, rather like than reverence, it's this, you know almighty one, I'm the powerless, you have the power, let me pray to you, to help me, to save me. It very much comes from more of this victim conscious energy. So that was like another thing that was really important about our trip, that we all noticed, was how are you in communion with the elements, with the pyramids, with these energies, and what's coming forward. And then we went through all these other days. We had Lil Bay, we went to Isamal. Just please go watch the last Sunday show. Dana and I shared so much about this. Isamal was the golden city with the temple and the nuns that were there, and the church chapel is built, it's all built on top of pyramids that they took down and built the city on top of, and everything in the city's painted gold. And you have that moment to move through, like, wow, they destroyed what was here to build on top of it. But it's a Mary apparition site, and she's the power there. That was one of the most incredible experiences I've had in my life to connect with. And it's a church dedicated, it's a it's a Catholic church dedicated to Mary, right? She's the center stage. And there's this Mary, I don't know what they call it, but the statue of her has real hair that never stops growing. And people have had a lot of sightings. And that site felt very much like the site in the Cajas, where we have had the apparitions, appearances, and miracles. And I've been there, right, to the Guardiana de la Fe. Very similar again. So it was like this touch point ignition of what we've been doing in Ecuador, but there in Mexico, right? And the culminating day at Uxmal, where we went in and the priestesses really came home. And this is where we saw all the women come together and collaborate. And we're there together holding presence and space for one another as we went into this portal to activate. Shri and Kira were not able to be there, and we had to do that together, and kind of reclaim. We had to go past some ropes and, you know, uh, and attune in this portal that was there. And we weren't knowing if we were going to be able to for sure or not, but we did. And we did it together, and it was that like spirit of collaboration. And that's what this moment's about. So part of going down that memory lane is just to hopefully ignite in you some remembrance, like you've been there, you've done that. We are the priests, we are the priestesses, we are the ones that we have been waiting for, and it's our time. And as July is coming in here, this is the moment that truly is setting the stage for where we all go next. This moment matters so much. And it's about coming together. It's about our empowered presence and saying, this is our temple. Wherever we are, this is our temple. This is our ceremony. This is what we're creating. And in July, I pray that you be with us for these 7 days of hope right now. I pray that you will be with us on July 13th, lineage holder. Don't wait to register. Go to shrinkira.com, register now, a minimum of $1. The second you're in there, your energy is contributing in an expansive way and you're receiving. Don't put it off. Get in there now and really share with people that feel like they're one that came here to support humanity, to be one that said, you know what, enough's enough. Like, I know I'm here for this greater purpose and vision and greater good. This is that moment. It's so powerful. It's so important. Everything that happened in Mexico, whether you were there in person or connecting with us, or you just learned about it, that was all this like beautiful blooming of where we're going. And it's about coming together. It's about honoring our empowered presence and bringing to the world through our own gifts, through our own sharing, through our own uh, ignition of knowing of that which we are and bringing it to the world. No more hiding, no more holding it back. The world needs you. It needs all of us. And it just needs to be enough. And if we have 1,000 people join, that's enough to change the course of everything. So we can call in the highest potentiality. That's what happens at these gatherings, right? We harness the highest potentiality for humanity, and enough of us doing it is enough for all those other ones that are flipping out of the boat or hanging on or don't know what to do. There just needs to be enough of us to say, I'm paddling us through here. And it is work, and it is effort, and it is sometimes, tough, but we have each other, and that's what matters. So I thank each and every one of you for being here, for tuning in today. I'm Jess. I'm here on Tuesdays at noon Eastern with Soul Fusion Cafe. Still thinking about and meditating on perhaps an evening show, so it makes things flow. But I love my lunchtime hour, so we'll see where we go with this. But I'll be back here next week with you, and I hope you have a beautiful, blessed, incredible day, and see you real soon. Namaste.
You've been listening to Soul Fusion Cafe with Jess Juntanen. Connect with Jess and learn more at her inspiration hub, selfascensionstudios.com, and over on Instagram at JoyLoveJess and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio, or over at Facebook at Self-Ascension Studios and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio. Thank you for listening. See you next week. Namaste and many blessings.